Hello, everybody listening to the Fairweather Podcast. It's your boy 2K Suave. I got my boy A-Rod with me, and we brought back our best friend, Michael Pless from Real Bucs Talk. He's in a very good mood, as you can see. I don't know if you can tell. The flags are waving and everything like that. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead and tell him why you're in a good mood. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling great. The Buccaneers in the Super Bowl going up against the Chiefs. A great win over a really good team in the Green Bay Packers. But yeah, guys, I'm super stoked about it, and thank you for having me back on. It's really my pleasure.
It was very necessary to get you back on.
Yeah, had to get you back on. But let's go. Let's dive right into it. So we'll start. We'll start AFC first. So Chiefs, Bills. It was pretty good game. Kind of.
Was it?
Yeah, there was some good game. It was some good plays, but it was what we kind of predicted. Josh Allen was gonna get a little scared. Bills fans got to be happy where they went. That's pretty good. Lot of good things coming for that franchise. But what are some takeaways from the games that you guys saw that really put Kansas City in the pivotal spot to win it?
Patrick Mahomes is the bad man.
Mhm.
Tyreek Hill runs like a sub 440, and Travis Kelce is going to be the next greatest tight end of all time. Those are the three things that I can tell you I got from that game. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, no, I agree with that assessment. When you look at the matchup, the Bills, obviously played great football, getting to that point. But the Chiefs they're in a different class. They're in a different level. They're a really good team. And, Patrick Mahomes and, he's just, he's hard to stop. And then if you don't double Tyreek Hill, bad things can happen because obviously he can beat you over the top. He can beat you in so many different ways. And then you have Travis Kelce, who's just a mismatched nightmare because, he can find open holes in the zone and then you can attack it that way. So really it was a tough job for the Bills. And then when you couldn't get touchdowns early and you had self for field goals, then you knew like, okay, this is going to be a long day for the Bills. And they just couldn't take advantage of the opportunities. And then the Chiefs just really ran away with it. And, that was pretty much it. And now I think we have the two best teams in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, holding Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs in check, because those two's got like a good little new bromance going on.
Yeah.
Not having them been able to connect, because I remember watching the game, and I think at halftime Diggs only had he had under 50 yards receiving. That's very un Stephon Diggs of him to be held to that. And then even the game he ended under 100 yards, no touchdowns, 77 yards. He even came out and watched the championship, for the AFC and from afar while all his teammates were in the locker room. So, he's going to take that as fuel to the fire for next year and get better as the year goes on in Buffalo and embrace that. But yeah, man, the Bills, it's crazy how you can take the running game out of a game with two teams that have, pretty, I would say, the same type of caliber running game. And use them all as receivers too. That's one thing that I noticed. Like all those guys, they just line them up as receivers and they'll do the same job right there too for you. So, and then Mahomes he's just on another level of craziness right now, man. Like you said it, we're gonna see the two best teams in the Super Bowl, and it's like the GOAT versus the baby GOAT is what's going on right now.
Right.
So it's crazy. Somebody I saw a thing today on ESPN. Somebody found a newspaper clipping where I think it was Mahomes was in middle school or high school maybe, and he said that the Eagles were a better team than the Patriots, and Andy Reid was on that team. Now he gets to play against Andy Reid, and go against Tom Brady. So now he can revenge that quote that he said in a way, because now he's with Andy Reid. So it's going to be a good matchup on that. But yeah, in the NFC, Bucks and Packers, I know this guy was going crazy on his live stream. He had those whiskey eyes going on. Super
What kind of whiskey were you drinking?
I wasn't even drinking whiskey. It was just I was just drinking mainly beer and some other things along the way. But
Some other things along the way. What's your
yeah,
beer of choice, just so the world knows?
I was drinking Corona that day.
Oh, okay, all right. A little
Just
festive.
keeping it light. So I really wasn't drunk. I think it was just me being very excited.
Really excited.
Um,
Yeah, he
Makes sense.
called him in the
yeah.
Tony Romo hotline, and Tony didn't pick up. So he said, "Kill this case." Bucks go into a cold temperature in Lambeau Field, and they get it done 31-26. A lot of takeaways from this game. A lot of questionable things in this game. So a lot of Bucks fans are very happy, as they should be. The flags are flying in Tampa Bay right now,
All over the place.
all over the place. And there were some questionable plays in the game. Some calls that weren't called, and I feel like that's normal type of officiating when it goes to Tom Brady. I feel like they're going to kind of give him the upper hand on a lot of things. I know you don't want to hear this, Pless, but I feel like that's the type of shit that happens for Tom. Like, the media loves Tom, the Super Bowl loves Tom, ratings love Tom. We want Tom. That's what it's going to be. So there were some pass interferences that weren't called. I think all the way until the fourth quarter, there wasn't a single penalty called in the game either.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. That was the part that just, there were no flags being thrown anyway throughout the game. I'm like, this is going to be a physical game and let the toughest team win. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, Mike. Before Tom Brady was a Patriot, was it a Buck? While he was a Patriot, were you one of the ones that were always hating on Tom Brady? Like, oh, he gets all the calls, the tuck rule, the plate gate, every gate. Were you one of those people?
I want to shout out Will Leto really quick, because we had this in our chat, and he said he really hated that fucking guy. So Will, fuck you and fuck Tom Brady. Anyways, answer the question, Wes.
I'm curious.
No, I never had a hate for him, really, because the Bucks never played them. I mean, they really didn't play the Patriots that often. But no, it wasn't like a personal hate for the guy. I've always respected his game, and I was more mad at the Patriots. Just they're always winning, they're always in the Super Bowl, so I was always rooting probably against them, especially in the Super Bowl when they lost, against the Giants or against your Eagles, or so yeah, I was definitely rooting for the other team. I was rooting for Patrick Mahomes when they played each other in 2018 for the AFC Championship.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I was kind of rooting just team wise against him, but I always had a high respect for what he did, because he is one hell of a player. And you got to give credit to him, because he finds ways to win, and he does it at a high, consistent level. I mean, doing it at 43 years old and bringing another team to the championship, or a chance to win it, says a lot about the guy.
Okay. It does. He's Terminator Tom, man. That's what he is. Terminator Tom. And he's also one of those guys that, anything I want, I'm going to get. And they make sure to give him that, because when you're old, you're going to need a lot of help. And I thought that O-line was not as good as it was, but they were able to hold up, okay, kind of, I would say.
No, they're good. They got some good talent on that offensive line.
They do, but it's not like any guy that really, in my opinion, that would really stand out. Like,
Jensen, Ali Marpet.
Not to me, man.
Oh, those are the two names off the top of my head. They're great.
Yeah. They play great. I mean, when you have Tom and you get all these other weapons on offense to help block on the O-line, you're going to open up a lot of holes for your running game. You're going to get guys more open. So, like I said, what I was trying to say is they went out and got him things to play with, obviously. And you saw, it's kind of like the molding of past Patriots teams, if you think about it. Like Fournette's kind of going into that Corey Dillon type of role now. You're seeing him able to catch and run the ball and pound the ground really quick. Scotty Miller, he could be an X factor in this game, man. And, he lines up in the slot. He could be like a Wes Walker type of guy, or Edelman, whoever you want to compare him to. And then Mike Evans is his big guy, if you want to compare him to Randy Moss or whoever you want. I'm not comparing him talent. Okay. I'm saying like the creating these teams that he's been on for offense. Yeah. So you're seeing it. Everything that he needs, they go and get it, and it's working. It's working for the Bucs' advantage right now. So they got to go, play Patrick Mahomes at home in Tampa, which is going to be crazy. But back to that game really quick. Do you think that if they would have gone for it on that fourth down, if the Packers would have gone for it on that controversial fourth down, they would have had made it a ball game if that was it? Or you think that LaFleur really screwed the pooch by saying we're going to kick this field goal and get the ball back? What are your takes on that?
Well, I think, yeah, definitely I would have liked to see them, put the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands because he is Aaron Rodgers, and, the guy makes clutch plays all the time. Yeah. So, I mean, let's just say, hey, they tie it up, they get the 2-point conversion by, chance, and it's 31-31. Problem with that is the Bucs get the ball with 2 minutes left, and it's Tom Brady, and he's got all 3 timeouts. Most likely Tom's going to take the team down and at least get a field goal. That's your ball game. So looking at it from that standpoint, I still think the Bucs win the game because they were the better team. They were the better team throughout, and they made the plays when they had to, and they won the game.
How about Tom Brady in the second half was not good.
Right. They were being aggressive.
7 of 14, 3 interceptions. I mean, Jameis Winston could have played that same exact game and it would have been the same outcome because your defense, no offense, and the refs got you to that point. But, the way I see it, not to I don't want to poop on the parade. I'm not trying to hate or anything because, I feel like I blame more of that game on Matt LaFleur than anybody because
I do.
I feel like defensively, for example, that Scotty Miller play at the end of the first half, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. That was just terrible. Number 20, King for the Packers was horrendous. Yeah. They should have took him off the field at some point. Like he got burnt with 3. He got 3 touchdowns scored to him, I believe. Like that's terrible.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then the play calling around, like in the red zone, was also horrible. Like Aaron Rodgers was getting his team to the red zone over and over and over, and they had to settle more and more and more. And it's just, I feel like it lacked creativity. I knew so. You remember that play against Jalen Ramsey where Devontae Adams ran all the way across the field and ran back?
Right.
I knew they were gonna do something like that again, where he was gonna run across. I knew the play. I knew when he ran across the field and he came back, he wasn't gonna go all the way across the field. And they knew that, and they played like the perfect defense. Like I feel like everything that the Packers did was so predictable. It was, I don't know, it was a poorly called game, and that's where it came down to, just for me, if you look in the last 20 years of head coaches who have won Super Bowls, for the most part, it's the veteran older guys that have common sense. All these young Matt LaFleur's and Sean McVay's and Matt Nagy's and all these, they think all these kids can win Super Bowl. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So again, Tom Brady didn't play so great in the second half. I'll give him that first half. He was magnificent, but there's no guarantee, even though we've seen Tom Brady do it time and time again, there's no guarantee that he would have drove the ball down the field because they weren't doing that well in the first place in the second half. I feel like
that's a great point. And, but at the same time, there's no guarantee they score on 4th and 8.
Of course,
there's no guarantee they get the 2-point conversion.
But if you're a Packers fan, what would you rather they have done in that instant? If you were a Packers fan,
you got to go for it. You don't give the ball back to Tom Brady because Tom's going to get at least a couple first downs and the game's over. Yeah, there was no point in doing that. Yeah, you definitely go for it. You take your chances with your best player and see where the chips fall. But to that point, the Packers had plenty of opportunities, and I said this before we started. They had 3 turnovers, like you said. Tom Brady throws 3 straight interceptions. They only got 6 points.
Exactly.
That's that was the difference. And the Bucs forced 2 turnovers. They got 14. So the Bucs capitalized on their opportunities. The Packers didn't. Devontae Adams had a drop in the end zone that could have been a touchdown. Maybe tie the game at 14. We have a different score later on. All those things change. The score, the score before the half. That's huge because that changes how you play the game. You go up only 4 points versus 11 points. That's huge. That's a huge swing, and how it changes how you call the game, how you do everything, really. It dictates.
If you remember that play before he threw that deep one to Scotty Miller, it was almost going to be another pick because Tom Brady was under duress. He just chucked it up there. I think the free safety, he dropped it, just flat out dropped it. So I felt it was just so many. Again, I'm not a Packers fan. You know, I like to be right. I picked the Packers to win. I just wanted to be right. And it was just so many frustrating plays. If I was a Packers fan, like they had every opportunity to win the game, but at the end of the day, like you say, winners win. They find a way to win, and Tom Brady is just. I mean, I've been watching this guy since I remember in middle school watching him. I'm like, God, who is this guy? And now fast forward, and here he is again.
Yeah, we can do this. I mean, you can pretty much do it all day. You can talk about it. Football is a game of inches. I mean, you have to capitalize on opportunities. Let's say, you know, Mike Evans doesn't drop the pass down the sideline, or he doesn't drop that pass over the middle. You know, the Bucs score more points. They were on pace to score over 40 points in this game if they capitalize on, you know, their second half drives that they had. And you don't have those turnovers. We probably score some more points. Game's out of reach. Game's over. And the Bucs, in my opinion, pretty much controlled the game throughout, and that's why I didn't have a doubt that they were going to win. You know, it's pretty much in hand.
How about that throw in the middle of the field to Godwin? It was a horrible throw. The safety should have picked it off. But Godwin, like, after he had to drop the play before, he had a little David Tyree little fumble in the air. That wasn't a great throw either, but it got there somehow.
It's trusting your playmakers.
Their dominance coming into that game, like just watching the first quarter, you said it best. Like they had control and momentum coming into that game, and
they did.
When I watched it, I was like, this guy he doesn't stop. Like he's the Terminator. He's determined just to take this team to the Super Bowl. You know, it's crazy that I have to watch it again with Tom Brady there, and now he's in Tampa. The person I hate him so much.
He lives right down the road from you.
He's living in a Yankee man's house, man. I gotta respect the man's game. Like he knows how to win, and he knows who he needs to target. Yeah, he played like shit in the second half, but he was able to play like shit and target the guy he needed to target and pick on the defense that he needed to pick. That guy Kevin King, man. Like if I'm King, I'm like, I don't know what it was, but to be picked on that many times, to have that many points scored on you, and then have the only penalty called on you in the game. like that's
you got to reconsider your day job.
So the Ravens had long-time Packer Tramon Williams on their team for their game against the Bills. Then they released him, and then by some kind of football god magic, he signs with the Packers to the practice squad, and they activate him. Now that guy knows the system. He's been there a bit. I would have pulled King and said, "Hey, man, this guy, I'm sorry," but you know, it's crazy to see this man do this at this age. You know, so now that the Bucs are in the Super Bowl, because Tom can't play like that in the second quarter again, or in the second half. I'm sorry,
not against the Wolves.
Like you saw it against the Eagles. You saw him play sloppy there. The Eagles took advantage of that and ran with that to their Super Bowl win. What does Tom have to do to beat the Chiefs going into the Super Bowl?
Well, it's going to come down to how they design their game plan, because the Chiefs like to do a lot of pressure stuff. They like to send a lot of blitzes. They can win with their front four. They can play coverage. So this defense of the Chiefs is going to be tough, you know, to go against, but we have to make sure that, you know, Tom is protected. It's going to come down to that. If they can, you know, pass block and get him opportunities to, you know, have time and make his reads and make his throws that he wants to, then we should be in good shape as far as the Bucs offense goes. And we have to execute, you know, obviously inside the red zone is going to be important. Can't come away with field goals. You got to score touchdowns. And definitely protect the football. Can't have 3 straight interceptions for sure. You know, because giving extra opportunities to Patrick Mahomes just spells trouble. And you can find yourself down really quick because they are pretty much a fast court offense, as we've seen. I mean, they can go up and down the field with one play. So, you know, offensively, Tom just has to be protected. The offensive line has to do their job. And, you know, I would hope we use some screen plays and get the ball out of his hands quickly to start off with. And then you can go down the field later on in the game, use that play action and set up your matchups that you really match up well against their cornerbacks. Because I don't think their corners are that great. I think you can take advantage of them, especially with, you know, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, Antonio Brown's going to be back for this game. So we're going to have options to go to, but I would start short, and get rid of the football quickly. And then you can start mixing in your run game and et cetera, play action.
So you guys played them, what was it, week 6, if I'm not mistaken?
Week 12.
Week 12, God.
Yeah, week 12.
Ago. Week 12,
yeah.
That's what it was.
Our last loss, actually.
Yes. So week 12, you guys played them. So they started off really well, but you guys actually finished really well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can kind of take some things from that game, what do you think the Chiefs did really well in that game, and what do you think you guys kind of will probably compared to your team now to what it was before?
Right.
What do you think is going to be different, based on what happened in that first game?
Well, I think first of all, if you look at the Bucs defense, they're not going to single cover Tyreek Hill. First of all, they're not going to do that again because that was stupid.
That was
and it cost them, early in that game. Yeah. They went up 17-0. So obviously, I think what the defense is going to do now is they're going to double Tyreek Hill, and they're going to bracket Kelsey as well, and they're going to make someone else beat them. I think that's what they have to do, find a way. And I think they're going to try to win with their front four. And obviously the big key in this matchup now versus week 12, we didn't have Vita Vea. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge addition because now you put him in the middle. He's going to draw double teams, and JPP and Shaq Barrett are going to feast on their backup tackles because of injury. Yeah. So that will be the big difference. And then offensively, like I said it before, they have to be prepared for their blitzes because it really caught Tom Brady off guard in the last game. And he really couldn't be accurate as he wanted to. They did some things like I talked about in the second half, and that's what allowed them to catch up. And they almost came back. They just couldn't get off the field because I think the defense was tired at that point. And really, Patrick Mahomes makes great plays. So, that's going to be the difference in how they just really attack them and how they defend. I think is going to make it a much better game than it was week 12.
So you kind of answered the question I was going to ask you. You got to pick an X factor in this game, a guy who has to step up and have a big game for the Bucs. Who do you saying it's going to be?
I'll go both offense and defense. Offensively, the X factor I think is going to be. I'm going to go with Scotty Miller. I think Scotty is going to have the mismatches, and I hope they target him early and often because the dude can win, and he's pretty much open all the time. If you really look at the tape, we just don't see him. Tom's just not looking his way. Yeah. So I think he could be an X factor for the offense. And then defensively, I kind of said it. I think it has to be, Shaq Barrett, JPP, those two guys. They got to take advantage of the matchup that they have because they're going up against backup tackles, and you got to get after Patrick Mahomes. The tough thing is Mahomes can drop back, 20 yards just backpedaling and then throw a 50-yard bomb and complete the pass. So that's where you find the struggle. So got to keep him inside the pocket.
Yeah. Prior to when we got on, I was actually talking to A-Rod about it. To me, it's going to be JPP. First of all, he's playing at home technically, and literally like this is home for him. Mm-hmm. And he's been over the last few weeks just abusing tackles over and over and over. And now he's playing a backup tackle. And the only way to stop the Chiefs is to keep them off the field. So I feel like the running game for the Bucs needs to be crisp. If they can just slow down the pace and just allow the game to just come to them. Because remember, when the Patriots played them a couple of years ago, Mahomes only had 19 minutes of time possession. He maximized on it,
right?
But it was only 19 minutes, and then in overtime he did get the ball back. So same thing, just control the clock on offense. So I think the running game will be key for the Bucs. They're still gonna, it's Bruce Arians. They're gonna no risk it, no biscuit, through the rest of the game. They're gonna throw that thing in the air as much as possible. But to me, they run the ball well, and then Jason Pierre-Paul's just wreaking havoc over and over and over on Mahomes, then that'll probably be the key for the Bucs, to get a victory in this one.
JPP is, he's a bull. He went to school where we went, so like you said, he has a bit of a homecoming here. He's always been one of my low key like favorite players, even though he played for Giants. It killed me, man. And when he came to the Bucs, like I'm not hating on the Bucs. I don't hate on the Bucs. I just don't like the decisions they make. That's if we can ever come to a restitution on that, Bless, that's where it is. The Bucs make, okay? And now they've got everything right. And JPP, I always felt like everyone wants to focus on Shaq Barrett. Everybody wants to focus, on the Veda Vays and things like that. But JPP comes in there and yeah, he may have blew off 3 fingers, but he's still getting the job done, man. Mm-hmm. He's still getting that job done. And he's going to, you saw it in the last game. He feasted 2 times on Aaron Rodgers. And he's, if they can do what you said, I believe that's going to be the key takeaway to an X factor on defense is JPP getting in there in the linebacker or the D line or whatever he wants to play, move him around. Mm-hmm. Let's kind of shift it on you, man. I want to do this to you. What do the Chiefs have to do to win this game?
Ooh, well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you look at it from the Chiefs side, obviously on offense, if I was, the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, I would, play a pretty much, spread them out and throw it short, because that's where our weakness is in defense, those short areas of the field to the sidelines, set up some screen plays, set up, maybe some passes to your running backs to get mismatches on our linebackers. So really, misdirection, type of, short passing offense to keep the chains moving. And then, once the defense has to adjust, you take your shots downfield. So I think that's how I would attack our defense, because we like to blitz. And then if we're not winning with our front 4, you can get some quick, passing game going as far as timing and rhythm. And, just, pretty much slants and stuff like that, I think can have success. And run the football too. I would run it right at us. I would run the football, attack with the running game too, mix it up. And then you can use play action as well. So offensively, that would be my game plan. Defensively, I would just attack Tom Brady. I would attack him with blitzes nonstop, do zone fire blitzes, so you're sending guys in from different angles. Really got to get Tom off his base, because once you do that and disrupt it, then you can have success. And you can't let the Bucs offense run the football. That's first and foremost. If they do run the football successfully, then you're in trouble, because now you have every option available. You have your play action game working. Tom is going to be deadly with the play action. He'll make you pay. So that's how I would approach it. But yeah, offensively, you have to find ways to get your ball to Tyreek Hill and et cetera. The Bucs are going to try to take those guys away. So maybe you attack, one of our lesser guys and Jamel Dean or someone like that, and you go to Sammy Watkins and you find that matchup and you just continue to attack it in that regard.
What's your answer for Travis Kelce? Because I feel like Kelce opens things up for Tyreek Hill a lot. So what's your answer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he's going to be a matchup nightmare. I mean, it's hard to stop Kelce. Yeah. They're going to find a way to try to, bracket him or try to keep him contained, but it's hard to do. Mm-hmm. And that would be another game plan that I would do. I have Mahomes roll out a lot, get him outside of the pocket. Absolutely. Especially because, your offensive line's banged up. So you want to buy him more time, do play, bootlegs, or rotate the pocket over, slide it over to one side or the other, give him more time to throw. And how deadly he is with his legs. I mean, he can take off and get first downs that way too. Or just find guys open because they're running around and coming back to him. So those are options for the Chiefs offense. And really, they're tough to stop. I mean, it's just so hard. They have so many things. And it's just like the Bucs offense. When the Bucs offense is rolling, they're hard to stop too. Mm-hmm. Especially when they have so many options, to throw to or run the football with.
If you think about it, they kind of got like a carbon copy offense of each other too, man. Like a lot of options to throw to, a lot of options to run the ball. Mm-hmm. Just think of Le'Veon Bell. What he led the league in yards. 4 years ago, something like that.
Right. Yeah.
With the 2 option, like I don't know where the guy's head is or heart is in the game. But, I think in the Super Bowl, you're going to come out to play a game. So you've got him, Williams, who easily was balling without Edwards-Helaire there, gets the system. And then you got Edwards-Helaire, who's your first pick, who kind of started off hot, and now he's, kind of cooling off a little bit. But you got a touchdown. What do you think? Let's flip it on you again. Who are the X factors on offense and defense for the Chiefs to step up in this game?
Yeah, that's a good one because offensively, I think it's going to be their offensive line. That's going to be their X factor for them. If they can find a way to neutralize our pressure package that we're going to send at them,
Eric tore his ACL in the last game too. So
mm-hmm.
that's a big component out of the game for Kansas City.
Right.
But both will dial it up.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
he did came in and did his thing. That's good. But I mean, Eric Fisher is the number 1 pick overall, so
Yeah.
he's got that title with him, and the kid stepped in and did his thing. But that's one game. He's got to do it in the bright lights now.
Mm-hmm.
No cannons.
What about defense?
Yeah, defensively, I'm going to say it's their front four. So really, it's going to come down to the trenches, like it always does. Who wins up front. Frank Clark, I think, is definitely the X factor for the Chiefs because he's a great pass rusher, and he stepped up big last year in last year's Super Bowl game as far as getting after Jimmy Garoppolo and company. So, yeah, I would say Frank Clark.
I'm going to say Frank Clark, and I'm also going to say Rashad Perriman too. I think he's going to have to, shadow those corners a lot. So now that he's back and he's healthy, and I think one of the safeties, I forgot who he was, but he was running all over the field against the Bills. He went out, but
I think you mean Brashard Breeland. Is who you're thinking?
Breeland,
yep.
Breeland, yeah.
I'm thinking my shitty Jets. My bad. Thanks for that player, anyways. But anyways, yeah, Breeland. He's gonna have to be, shadowing these guys, and it all depends on who he's going to be covered up or who's going to be in matchups with. And I think they're going to be putting the ABs and the Mike Evans on him. So he's going to have to come out, and because, they're going to love to throw the ball. Both of these teams are going to love to throw the ball against these secondaries. And then, where he gets kind of sloppy, Tyrann Mathieu's going to have to clean up and kind of help out and assist over there too. And that guy is like, you have a point guard as a floor general in basketball. That's what Tyrann is to the Chiefs defense. He's definitely the field general. He sees what's going on, and he makes the big plays, and he knows where to be at all time.
Yeah.
I love me some Tyrann Mathieu. I feel like Tyrann Mathieu he's gonna make a play or two in this game. You just know it's gonna happen. Again, Tom Brady, GOAT, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. But he will throw an interception in his game. It's inevitable. And it will go to Tyrann Mathieu. It's just that's what's going to happen. And there's going to be some kind of crazy play that he tries to run it back for a touchdown. Maybe he doesn't, but oh well. And then offensively for the Chiefs, it's simple. It's Mahomes. You can call him the X factor or the main entree. It's just that's what it's going to come down to is how he quarterbacks his offense and how Mathieu quarterbacks his defense, and then just play ball. That's what it's going to come down to.
So, before we make our transition to basketball and keep you on to talk about some basketball stuff, we're not going to make predictions this week, but we want to hear yours.
But you are.
Okay.
You are going to make a prediction. And we know which way it's leaning. And if you don't, you're going to have to change that name of that podcast that you have.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious I'm taking the Buccaneers in this one. I just feel like again, they're at home. You're in a comfortable setting. You're in your own stadium. So you have a lot of advantages that way, just being comfortable practicing throughout the week. I just feel like the Bucs offense is going to find ways to take advantage of the Chiefs secondary and also run the football. I think Rojo being more healthy in this game, having weeks off to, get better and healthy, I think he's going to have a more impact. So I think that's going to be a factor, especially against a smaller, Kansas City front four. With our big offensive line, I think we can do some things as far as the run game, and then just play that dink and dunk kind of passing game early on. To take advantage of their blitzes that they're going to try to send at us. And then defensively, I think the front four is going to win. So really, it just comes down to the trenches where I think we have the advantage. We have the better offensive line. We have the better defensive line. And we're going to make plays to win this game. So I'm going Bucs 35, and I'm going to go Chiefs 28.
Mahomes only 28. Okay. All right. Cool.
Yep. Our defense has stepped up throughout this whole playoffs. They've been really leading the charge the whole way.
Yeah.
And they're making turnovers happen when we need them. And then our Bucs offense is capitalizing. So I think it'll be, I'm going 35-28.
Well, luckily for us, we got a week to sleep on it. So we'll let you know how we feel next week.
Awesome.
All right. So yesterday was probably one of the saddest days in sports history. It's the 1-year anniversary that Kobe Bryant passed away. I mean, I know where I was when that happened. It was like really shocked me. I couldn't believe it. I literally was getting off a plane from New York, and they told me the weather in Tampa, and then they told me that Kobe Bryant passed away in a helicopter crash, and that was like insane to me to believe that, even hear it. Dude was probably the greatest competitor to ever play the game. He had the will, given the nickname the Black Mamba, given the nickname Vino because he's kind of like Tom Brady in that way. He got better, as he got older, like fine wine. It's definitely impacted the basketball world a lot. So still kind of surreal to me too, to think that this kind of thing happened. But you get to see players like LeBron and all these other guys uphold his name and play on and keep his legacy going. Because just the night before, wasn't it, LeBron passed him in the scoring category. So it's super hard to see something like this happen to the NBA community. KK, Phil, I know you got some stuff to say about
Oh yeah, I remember. So just where were you kind of thing. So like you said, the night before I was watching the Laker game. I'm a LeBron fan, and he had just passed Kobe on the all-time scoring list. Mind you, it was Gasparilla actually the night before. So I woke up at like 3 a.m, kind of like, still feeling the effects of Gasparilla. If you've never been to Gasparilla before, you're missing out. It'll be back in April if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I'm still feeling the effects of Gasparilla. But I woke up at 3 a.m because that's what you do when you've been drinking all day. You wake up early than you want to. And I just went on Instagram that day and I saw that Kobe posted about LeBron James, congratulating him for passing him on the all-time scoring list. And he says, continue to carry the legacy, onward to, bigger and better things kind of thing. I remember I actually reposted that post on my IG story at 3:40 a.m. Didn't think much of it, it was whatever. So it's Sunday. I wake up finally. It's like 9-10 o'clock. Just carrying on about my day. Believe it or not, I'm watching Kobe and LeBron highlights all day long because I was so touched by that moment, for Kobe to allow LeBron to, have that thing. Cause there's always been this long ongoing thing about Laker fans and, they're super Kobe fans and they've always hated LeBron. So, LeBron gets there and it's like, you can kind of see it was like a passing of a torch kind of thing. And I was so proud of that. So I'm watching all their old games. I'm watching the MVP puppet commercials they used to have back in the day. I'm watching their Olympic highlights. Mind you, this is like 4 or 5 hours before this thing happens. It's super random. It's like, I can't make this stuff up. So then I'm on my way to a baby shower. No, a man shower. And my friend Rich, he's having a little girl. And girl dad. And it was like 3 something in the afternoon. And I remember, I opened up, I wanted to see, there was like trade rumors or something that was happening. So I wanted to see, it was actually about Tom Brady, believe it or not. I wanted to see if Tom Brady actually got traded or he actually signed with another team. And then I see Kobe's face and I'm like, I thought it was just bull crap or whatever, TMZ. And then people start texting me and calling me and I pull over, come driving to this man shower. And I had to stop driving for like half an hour because I was complete. You don't expect things like this to happen. It's so traumatic, and I felt sad and everything that day. But then after that day, I wanted to kind of just only remember all the positive things, and just find everything that was fun. And I have like a fun, weird relationship with Kobe because I grew up an Iverson fan, and he beat my Sixers back in 2001, and I remember I was, I hate Kobe, blah blah blah. But then as you watch Kobe get older, he goes through his stuff that he was going through, and Shaq leaves, and he's by himself. And then when he won that championship back in 2009 versus the Magic, actually, that was the first time that I really grew to appreciate him because of everything that he overcame. I mean, it was years of just ineptitude in Los Angeles, and then he finally overcame. You can see the joy on his face. He changed to number 24, and you can see the maturity. And then he started having kids. You can see the maturity. And then the whole Black Mamba thing persona came out. And I can go on this day on Facebook right now, and I started calling myself the Black Mamba actually, because I don't know, it was like an identity that I wanted to adopt, and then I just became like this. I just grew to just really respect him more than anything. Kind of like you were talking about Tom Brady earlier. It was just somebody you just grow to respect, and I just grew to respect him a lot. And then for me, it was just, I don't know, it's crazy. My first ever, like one of my first ever video games I ever got on my N64 was NBA Courtside. And it was Kobe Bryant on the cover. And I played that game for 8 years, from like 97 to like 2003, 2004, or something like that. So it's like, it's just, again, you can't make stuff like this up. It's just, yeah, it's crazy, but again, we don't want to be sad. We don't want to just remember all the positive things. He's from Lower Merion. He's a kid from Philly. I'm a Philly everything fan. So I always had this, respect for him. So it's just, I'm happy that people are appreciating him and honoring him however they can, wearing his shoes, his number, just, whatever you can, just respect him, respect his wife and his family and everybody else that was on the helicopter, his daughter. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, yeah.
Yes, it's definitely a lot. Because like you said, I had a bittersweet relationship with Kobe too. He was probably, when I was a kid, outside of like John Starks and Patrick Ewing, when I kind of came into my own mind of watching basketball as a kid, he was the first person that I truly liked watching. And I liked watching his run with the Lakers and with Shaq. And I'll be honest, I had a Kobe Bryant, yellow reversible champion jersey when I was a kid. My mom got it for me, wore that shit into the ground, man. My first sneakers were his Crazy Eights. I had those ones, those Adidas. And
I had those.
had the Adidas Kobe ones that looked like steel shoes, and then I got the ones. I got those, and then I started going to the Nike line because I love Nike. But like I said, it was bittersweet because when he ran Shaq out of there, I thought, he was kind of a selfish player for doing that. And when you're a kid, you don't
No, yeah.
you don't look into people's work ethics and stuff. You're just like, I got Kobe Bryant shoes, I got a jersey, blah blah blah. But when you get older and you grow into the game that you love and you watch, kind of like with you in football, Pless and the Buccaneers, you learn the art of the man and who he is, and the the game that he would employ to the players that came to play with him. He turned Powell into a good player into a great player, and that was his second calling of Shaq. And even Shaq, humbles himself, and all the stupid kid shit that they did, the little beefs that they had. He knows that he wouldn't have won those without Kobe. They had to give up an Eddie Jones to make room for Kobe, and Eddie Jones was an all-star. There's a lot of things that Kobe did and work on the court that was just insane for anybody to do. If you beat him, you knew he was going to get those shots in the gym afterwards and come back better. There's a story that your favorite player said, Iverson, when he came into town one time and he was like, "Yo, I'm going to the club. You trying to come?
What are you gonna do?"
I got work, bro.
Go to the gym.
Yeah.
So it is crazy to see that happen, man. Like, I got a Kobe Bryant rookie Bowman's Best card, never touched, right by my desk right now. I'm looking at it. It's there at all times. I love the guy. I cried that day. I think I cried a little yesterday too. And it's just a sad day. Like, it's like, if any man is supposed to cry on one day, like, he should have that ability to cry that day. I feel like.
Well, I definitely cried. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, Kobe's a legend, and legends never die. And to watch Kobe over the years, I kind of watched basketball from afar. I wasn't a huge basketball fan, but I always had the utmost respect for Kobe and what he did as far as a basketball player, not only as a basketball player, but as a man, as a person, father, and just what he meant to the game. He just brought a lot to this game, and he did a lot more after he retired. And it's just, it was crazy. Like, I was at home and I was just, looking through, Twitter and, just going through the feed, and all of a sudden I see Kobe Bryant has passed away and, died in a crash. And I'm like, how's what? Like, no, you're wrong. Like, it can't be, too soon, way too soon for this man to, not be here anymore, because he had so much more planned, not only for him, but for his kids. And
yeah, he was on it, man. Won an Academy Award for a love letter to the game. Like, it's so bittersweet, man. It really is. But I'm glad to see the NBA, all these guys carrying on his legacy, carrying on his name, giving credit to him. The half court, 8 seconds, 24 seconds. People wearing 8 and 24 to honor him. Shots go in, they honor him. Shoes with things, names and autographs and Kobe quotes and stuff like that. It's all great. But let's uplift it a little bit now. Let's get the tempo up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Sorry guys, I cut out there, I guess. But I mean, what I was getting to is, like, Kobe is just, it was just so awesome, for NBA. And so I was just, what he became, and just the respect level that you had to show him because of how good he was. It was just awesome. So yeah, I mean, he'll always be remembered as one of the best competitors, like you said, if not the best. And, right there with Michael Jordan as far as, the best player of all time.
Yep.
So with, that the passing of the torches to LeBron, and now he's the front and center of the Laker organization, and he's doing a great job of tradition going on in LA. This dude is just making it look easy, like super easy. He's taking these 3-pointers and not looking. He's shooting them, and he's telling them already, that's 3. Yesterday they played against the Cavs, and I don't know who that guy in the front office was that was getting up and down and cheering when he missed that third quarter shot to, put them over the head of the Cavaliers. But he took that shit personal and turned that into a whole new ball game for them. So if there's one thing you don't want to do is piss off LeBron James, because he's going to get it done. He's going to get it done, man.
Like, LeBron is like my brother. I'll back him for anything.
And this guy's torn right now because his Sixers are playing him right now, so he doesn't know what to do.
It's always tough when that happens. Like, my biggest fear is that the two of them make the finals at the same time. No matter what, I'm going to be happy, but at the same time, I'm going to be depressed because I'm going to feel bad for one of the two. But I remember watching.
It's going to be insert Homer Simpson meme. He'll be in there with a Philly shirt, but if they lose,
he backs out.
I'm hedging my bets. I'm just going, I'm going to be fine either way. But I remember that shot that he shot in the third quarter. I pointed it out. No one else saw it at the time, but I pay attention because I watch his mannerism. I watch everything that he does. I'm crazy, I know. And I saw him look over to the sideline, and it's not where the bench is at. And he nods. I'm like, who is he mad about? Who is he mad about right now? And he outscores the Cavs by himself in the fourth quarter. Golly. Let me tell you, man, this guy is 36 years old. I cannot tell. I can't tell.
Yeah.
He's doing things that he used to not be able to do. He's shooting 41% from 3, a career high in year 18. His perimeter defense, next level stats, is number 1 in all of the NBA. And these people try to tell me he doesn't play defense anymore. Then they told me he doesn't have that killer mentality. Excuse me. Then they told me that he can't close the game. Excuse me. Like, they tell me he couldn't do it in the West. Excuse me. He's been doing this over and, like, they told Tom Brady, Bucs fans, oh, it's because of the AFC East. They suck. It's easy. Tom Brady's in the NFC, and he's 1-for-1 already in the NFC Championship games. He has the same amount of NFC Championship wins that Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees has, who have been there forever. And LeBron's doing the same thing. And it's like, I don't understand how people find these narratives and reasons to hate on the man, because he's doing everything the right way. He's 36 years old, year 18, only 72 days of rest from after he just won an NBA Finals. He's played every game this season. He has not taken a game off. He's just he's averaging 25, 7, and 7 and playing less than 32 minutes a game. The number one in the whole NBA. Like, I don't know what else you need me to say. I'm getting tired. I'm literally getting tired having to beat the desk over and over, like having to prove everybody wrong. And I blame the Skip Baylesses of the world because he's created this false narrative that does not exist. It's not true. They say he doesn't make game-winning shots. He has more game-winning shots than MJ, than God rest his soul, Kobe, than everybody. He has more game-winning shots, better field goal percentage, and more attempts, which means they say he always passes the ball, but he has more attempts. And he has a better field goal percentage, and he's made more. I don't know what. You can look it up. Google it. Ask G's, whatever you got to do. He's been doing this his whole career. I'm done. I'm done. I have nothing else to say. It's amazing.
LeBron is he's just special. And again, I don't watch basketball as much as I used to, but from what I've seen from LeBron, especially lately, I just love how he's really matured as far as his game goes. Like, he can do everything now, and it's really special to watch him just go through these last couple of years. Obviously his years with the Heat, and then before with the Cavs, just carrying those Cavs teams on his back, and willing them to wins. And he's just keeps on going, man. The guy's he's Iron Man. I mean, 36 years old, like you said, and doesn't take breaks and just keeps on chugging along. And he's spectacular, and really he's going to be one of those legends, like we talked about earlier.
Think about it. He's so good. He got all these prominent Western Conference players to go East. Mm-hmm. Like James Harden. James Harden he shot that three, and then LeBron shot that three and turned around, look at his bench. And the very next game, James Harden was a Brooklyn Net. It's funny because like they told me that he can't do it, and people are leaving because they can't deal with him. And the Clippers are gonna see him. At some point, the Clippers are gonna see him later in the season, and LeBron's gonna show him what's up. Giannis back-to-back MVPs. LeBron has been killing Giannis every time he plays him now because he takes that personally. I don't know. They say he's too friendly, but he takes all this stuff so personally.
He does. And what's crazy is like, dude gets snubbed on the MVP all the time. Like, he's just like the under the radar MVP guy. Like, he should win it almost every year.
It's like Jordan. Jordan should have won it every year, but they have to give it to somebody else.
It just takes away from the fun of the league.
Exactly.
But right now, he's my front runner. Him and Embiid are my two front runners for the MVP right now. Those are the two guys that are balling out right now. Big man's coming back. I've been saying that you need a big man, and Embiid is showing.
Coming back.
And you know why? It's because that Doc Rivers coaching. That's why. Yep. Because of Doc Rivers coaching.
I love Doc and everything he's done for our organization.
So speaking of MVP talks, Russ with the Wizards go back and face Houston. So it's John Wall coming home party, and a lot of chirping, a lot of back and forth going on there. Houston beats the Wizards. Now they're 3-10. Enter Bradley Beal meme, on the sidelines like this.
Pressed.
This dude is good. Like, he's not a scrub. He's really good. And you and I have talked Russell Westbrook talk a lot. He's a hell of a talented player.
He's not a winner.
You're going to win with it's showing.
Yeah.
You're 3-10 with an MVP guy who can get a triple-double every game. He can easily score 30 if he wants to. And Bradley Beal is leading the league in scoring. So trade deadline is March, I got it written down, 25th. There's some guys on that list to get traded that might want out, So is Bradley Beal, is the clock ticking on Bradley Beal to want to leave right now? Because if I'm Bradley Beal, and they say the front office loves him, the front office doesn't want to move him, they want to keep building around him. Like, how much more are you going to build around me? Like, at first, this is what I don't get about the Wizards organization, is like, they don't know who their guy to build around is. First, it was Gilbert Arenas. And then, yeah, I know you got caught with the guns in the locker room doing some stupid shit. Okay, we're going to get rid of that problem, clean house. But you bring in your number one pick, John Wall. And there ain't nothing bad about this. He was having a lot of fun out there doing his thing.
The city loves him. The city really loves him.
DC is John Wall territory.
Yeah.
And then you put like a bad taste in his mouth because he got hurt. He got like a major injury. And you don't want to rush people because you've seen players get rushed back and they just don't turn out the same, you know. And when he's healthy and ready to play, you're already putting a bad taste in his mouth, and now he wants out, you know. But you still have Bradley, and now you've given up on him, who should have been your focal point, and now you've paired him with the Bradley Beal, and you run with this duo, you know, and you bring guys in there. But now you're just saying, okay, we're gonna keep Bradley as our centerpiece now because he's been balling out. So at what point is he like, y'all got to turn your head somewhere else and find somebody else because I'm not that guy? You know, what do you think? Spit it, KK.
How old is Bradley Beal? What year? Is this like his fourth year?
I want to say 6 or 7.
He's not. So the problem is that he has a lot of loyalty to Washington because he likes it there, and they love him. They literally love him. But the frustration, 3-10, when you have a guy who's averaged a triple-double for 3 seasons, who's won an MVP, you're still 3-10. They have been dealing with a lot of like COVID-related issues this year, so they haven't had a complete roster, you know, all season, honestly. So I feel like there's a lot of growing pains going on there, and I feel like in this culture of the NBA, we're so quick to, you know, when a guy is not happy, we're so quick to, all right, where's he going to go next? Instead of kind of just giving it some time to see, you know, what he can make of it. If I'm the Wizards, I still want to just play this out at least for the rest of this season. You didn't trade a $50 million contract for a $50 million contract to just give up on Bradley Beal. Like, you thought there was something there in Russell Westbrook that you're not going to get out of John Wall that was going to help the game of Bradley Beal. So for me, I would ride it out because the return you're going to get for Bradley Beal is not going to be good, depending on who you decide to do business with. Now, as a Sixers fan, I've been beating the table. We got to go get Bradley Beal. And I can put a package together that would be good, but it wouldn't make them any better than they are right now, the Wizards.
For him?
What's up?
Get rid of Ben Simmons for him?
That would be, you would have to. So it would have to be like a Ben Simmons, a Maxey who's been playing really well from Kentucky, and like a Matisse Thybulle and some picks. If like I thought about the Lakers, they'd have to give up Horton Tucker, Caruso, Kuzma, and maybe some other picks as well. So it's like there's packages out there. It's just Bradley Beal is one of those players that to me could be like Ray Allen, that he's a sharpshooter. But like Ray Allen when he was younger was the same way. He was explosive. He can dunk. He can do all this stuff. And then he settled into a role with Boston that worked. He settled into a role in Miami that worked. And Bradley Beal could be that kind of player, but he's not at that stage of his career yet where he needs to settle into a role. Because to me, he can be a superstar. I mean, he's already been an all-star. So, you know, let's get him to that next step. So if I'm the Wizards, I wouldn't give up on him. I'll just, you know, wait till my team is healthy. Wait until the offense works. Make sure that Scotty Brooks is the right coach for this team, and then, you know, kind of just see what you can make out of that. I don't know what you're thinking, Mike.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing because I look at, you know, Bradley Beal. I followed his career because he played for Florida Gators, and I'm a Gators fan, so I like Bradley Beal a lot. I think he's really developed and, like you said, into a tremendous player. If I'm Washington, I would definitely hold on to him. You know, I've seen teams throw away, you know, franchise pieces for nothing. You know, I'm a Magic fan, you know, when I do watch NBA, so I've seen it. You know, Shaq left. We got rid of Dwight Howard, got rid of Trace McGrady, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So, yeah, from Washington's standpoint, I would definitely keep him and try to continue to build the right way and see what happens. But if I'm Bradley Beal, I try to maybe find a way out if I can, because, you know, it's just the way things are rolling in that team. And for Washington, nothing really has improved to a level where, they need it to be. And you're pretty much wasting Bradley's time there. So if I'm Bradley, maybe I talk to my agent and see, what's the best possible place I can go to. Is that a Philly, or is that LA, or, what other teams do you guys think would be a really good fit for him, or that could work?
The Nets. No, I'm just kidding.
That wouldn't work, but it would be annoying if it did happen. But that wouldn't work because it would work, but they don't have anything to give up anymore.
The two biggest teams he's been tied to, I think Portland has been in there as well.
Okay.
Portland too. Milwaukee could put together something enticing maybe and bring him over. But I think you guys are on the right track. I agree with you that you keep still with Bradley Beal. And if I'm Bradley, I'm looking to get out of there. But Bradley also seems like a very, very nice guy. Like, okay, guys, another year. Let's go to work again. Let's pack our bags. We'll try it this year. I think for Bradley to succeed, he needs either a superstar caliber player and him play the two, or just a guy that he can just feed off of and do well with, like a John Wall. Like the chemistry with John Wall when he was a rookie and he was there, it was there. You saw it. They were making runs in the East. Like it was easy. It was
because they liked each other.
Yeah. That's the thing. You got a pair of guys that are going to be able. If this is a guy that you trust to be our one or our two, or at least a role player on the team, they got to buy into the culture. And the culture was bought into, and it was rolling. But now you got rid of part of the culture, and you bring in a culture vulture, if you want me to say it, in Russell Westbrook, man. Like, dude, I love the guy's game. I love him so much, man. He's such a baller. I don't hate Russell Westbrook, but he ain't gonna win you no ships, man. He ain't gonna do it. And it sucks to say that because the guy's got so much heart and so much ability, but it's just not there. It's not there for me. I don't want him on my team.
You know who I compare Russell Westbrook to?
Oh, that's what I was gonna say before you jump into that. I comparing Bradley Beal right now to like Michael Redd's time in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Like they were scoring crazy numbers, and Michael Redd was just on a really shitty Bucks team.
It was like, for what? What am I doing here?
He just stayed his whole career there until he finally went to Phoenix.
Yeah. So I compare, and it's not even a basketball comparison. It's Russell Westbrook though. It's not even a basketball comparison. Russell Westbrook, I love Russell Westbrook because I just love the passion that he plays with. I just know it just won't work in the locker room. The same way I felt about Terrell Owens. I am a huge like Terrell Owens fan. Him and like Chad Johnson were like my favorite players like ever. And Chad was Chad, but Terrell, to me, third greatest wide receiver of all time. The talent was off the books, but his personality was strong. His very emotional, just like Westbrook, very in your face, just like Westbrook. And you can they love, like Westbrook loves basketball, you could tell. And Terrell loves football, but they love themselves a lot. And I feel like Bradley Beal and John Wall had like a different kind of brotherhood that Russell Westbrook can provide for your team. Because think about it, Harden and Westbrook were really close actually before the Houston thing. And 1 year, like, yeah, you got to get this guy out of here, or this is not going to work.
Yeah. So with trade deadline coming around, there's a lot of names to target, and we'll get into that, I guess, in the next episode. But we also feel shitty we didn't say, Hank Aaron passed away too, man.
Yeah.
That's another big name that
we had some big losses recently.
If you watch, NBA, like he's a big analyzer, columnist, reporter. He does it all, man. That's a big hit to the NBA family too. So
Sekou Smith.
Sekou Smith, yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad, man. A lot of big names, man. But
what's also sad, because you were talking about Hank Aaron, we could talk about baseball really quickly. How horrible the Hall of Fame is for the MLB. It is the worst Hall of Fame, and it's worse than the Grammys for me. It's like, it's so bad. Like, it's just, I don't fathom how there are years that you can actually conceptualize. We don't have any Hall of Famers this year. I'm never going to understand baseball.
If one guy wants to pull himself from the ballot and have another panel voting him in, like,
sure, yeah. I just don't get it. I don't understand. Okay, can we be honest? in the late 90s and early 2000s, the whole league was on steroids. So if you have to still be able to perform, like you still have to be able to perform. There was the Black Sox in 1919. There were gambling and cheating in the early 1900s. There was tar. There was everything that you can think of. Everyone finds a way to cheat in baseball. It's just the nature of the sport. People beat on drums and trash cans in the locker rooms. Like, to me, I get it. They want to be purists and don't want to put anybody with steroids, but in Barry Bonds had a Hall of Fame career prior to him getting juiced. Yeah. Roger Clemens is amazing. Curt Schilling was amazing. Like, I just don't understand, like, how you can just, I don't know. It's just tough.
Agree. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, Baseball Hall of Fame, even the NFL Hall of Fame is off a little base. I mean, you have players that should be in there already and they're not, and
they have to wait forever.
Yeah. So
you think John Lynch is going to get in this time?
I hope so. I really hope Rondé gets in, because Rondé was, I think, just a heck of a player, and he should be the guy to get in. But yeah, I mean, the process with the Hall of Fames definitely is off base, and Barry Bonds' face changed every year. We knew he was on something,
Bonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, but once football's done, I guess we'll throw baseball into the mix and do that. But we want to wrap it up.
Ready to wrap? You want to do these? Where did he go to college? Have you ever heard our segment, Mike, about we ask A-Rod where a certain player goes to college?
I've seen it in the previews, but yeah, I'm excited for it. Let's get it going.
So, just a disclaimer: he is okay at this, but he's very specific about timelines.
Okay.
So,
not timelines. He just throws some like no names that you've never heard. That had like 3 minutes a game, and there's.
If I know the player, you should know who he is as well. So you may not know some of these players, Mike, because you're not too crazy about basketball. But I know A-Rod. I know he has basketball cards. He has jerseys. He has posters. He has man cave material. So
he's a super NBA fan. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna do 5. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna do early 2000s. Now, if he needs help, you can go ahead and he can phone a friend. You can be the friend that he phones.
Okay.
The friend, whatever. You get me. We're gonna start with the year 2000.
Okay.
Are you ready, sir?
Let's do it. Let's run it.
All right. Now, okay. You may not. Speedy Claxton. Where did Speedy Claxton go to college?
Oh man.
You know Speedy Claxton. He's a Sixer.
Speedy Claxton.
First round pick, number 20 overall.
He went to the Sixers. I can see it. I just don't know.
You can't see it.
I can. Boston
College,
he said Boston College. I'm gonna say, I want to say Michigan State, but that's not right. I'm gonna say Arizona.
Wrong. He went to Hofstra.
Oh, there it is. Yes.
Come on, guys. Number 2, we're 0 for 1. All right. We were honoring the Black Mamba earlier, so we're gonna honor the White Mamba now. Where did Brian Scalabrine go to college?
Oh, Brian Scalabrine is like so.
Come on, he's like one of the most popular players.
For nothing.
He was fun.
I don't know where Brian Scalabrine went, to be honest with you.
Do you know, Pless?
Yeah, these are tough. I'm gonna say, oh man,
West Coast.
Yeah, I'm thinking West Coast too.
Let's see.
I'm gonna say Cal.
No, he went to USC, Southern Cal.
USC, okay.
That was close, right?
What's up?
USC. When you said West Coast, he hit right away.
Yeah. 0 for 2. Next one. All right. I was going to give you this one, but I don't think you're going to get it right. So I'm going to help you out a little bit, okay? Where did Tayshaun Prince go to college?
He went to Kentucky, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah,
I was going to give you John Salmons.
He went to Miami.
Okay, you got that right. So you made up for some of your mishaps. Okay.
I knew Tayshaun Prince. I didn't know the other one.
All right. We got two more. 03 draft class. Now he played for your Knicks at some point, if I'm not mistaken. Jason Capono.
Oh man.
Did he go to Nova?
No.
Arizona?
No. You can't just guess now. You already lost. What about you, Mike?
No, I know. Hold on. I know it.
I'm gonna say Creighton.
No.
A lot of good white shooters.
Kyle Korver.
A lot of good white boys who can shoot the three.
I'm thinking of Kyle Korver in the similar draft class.
It's a big name school though. I can see it.
Oh yeah, it is. A player that I brought up before went to that same college.
Oh damn. USC.
Close, but you're all wrong. UCLA. UCLA. Jason Capono was good. It was good.
3-point contest, and that was it.
All right, last one. Where did I'm gonna be nice, okay? I'm gonna be nice. Because the one I was gonna give you, you weren't gonna get that right either. Okay.
All right, so give me this one and then give me that one then.
All right. I'm gonna give you this one. The one I was gonna give you, Lionel Chalmers.
Lionel Chalmers?
Yeah, not Mario, Lionel Chalmers.
What Lionel Chalmers is? You made up that name.
No.
Never heard of Lionel Chalmers.
He went to Xavier. That's fine. You can make it up with this one though. 2 players went to this school in the 04 draft.
Oof.
Who were the 2 players that went to St. Joseph in the 04 draft? They got drafted both in the first round.
That's easy. Like
I know.
Jameer and Delonte.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. Jameer Nelson and Delonte West.
All right, good job.
Boys were freaking good, man, in college, man.
That was a good little program they had. But all right, you did okay. All right.
Plus, plug in your podcast, everything. Tell them what they need to hear.
Yes, thank you guys again for having me on. As always, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, Real Bucs Talk. You can catch us on YouTube. Catch us pretty much anywhere. Just search at Real Bucs Talk. We do weekly content, live streams on Monday at 8 p.m. And then also we have film studies that we just actually did today, and they'll be coming out sometime tomorrow. So be sure to check those out. Just analyzing the Packers game, and then we got a big preview coming up for the Bucs versus Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Can't wait. Hey, Rod, you drop all the ats.
Yeah, we got a lot. So yeah, you can find us on Twitter at fair_weatherpod, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, the Fair Weather Podcast, and then wherever you subscribe to your podcast channels, you can find us there.
And don't forget MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace too.
Shout out to Tom.
We'll probably have a whole show dedicated to the Super Bowl, me and KK. Maybe have some people on, maybe have a panel, we'll see, but be looking forward to our Super Bowl predictions on the next one.
These next 2 weeks in Tampa are going to be a party. I cannot wait. All right, everybody, take care. Peace.
Later.